The Room 306 Part 1. The first night *. The road stretched endlessly under the pale November moon. *. A cold wind swept across the Nevada desert, whispering through the open windows of a worn-out Toyota Corolla. Inside the car, three friends were half asleep, half laughing their way through a long road trip. Olin, sitting behind the wheel, squinted at the faded GPS on his phone. Next town's 30 miles away, he muttered. Let's crash somewhere soon, before the car freezes. Mahi, sitting in the passenger seat, groaned. Dude. I told you we should have stopped back in Barstow. From the back seat, Maria leaned forward. Oh, come on, adventure. A random motel night. Feels like a horror movie already. She laughed. But her voice faded when she looked out the window. The desert looked dead, endless, almost watching them. The motel an hour later. They spotted it. A flickering neon sign by the roadside, half the letters missing. Si Verun, in the silver moon, in Olin read out loud. Pulling into the gravel driveway. The place looked deserted. One or two lights burned faintly in the upper windows, and the old wooden sign creaked with the wind. Creepy, Maria whispered. Cheap, Mahi corrected. Exactly what we need. They walked into the reception area. The air smelled like dust and wet carpet. Behind the counter sat an old man with deep wrinkles and a pair of tired gray eyes. He looked up slowly. Evening. Hi, Olin said politely. We just need a room for the night. 3 people. The man nodded, opened an old ledger, and slid it across. Sign here. Mahi scribbled their names quickly. Any room's fine. The old man paused, then said, Room 306 is available. His tone was flat, almost reluctant. He handed them a brass key, not a card. A real key. The tag read, 306. When Olin's fingers touched it, a chill ran down his skin, like touching ice. Thanks, he said. But his voice came out quieter than he meant. The hallway was dim and silent. Their footsteps echoed on the old carpet. The walls were lined with faded wallpaper, yellowed flowers, peeling at the edges. At the end of the corridor stood. Room 306. The air felt heavier there. Olin unlocked the door, and it creaked open like it hadn't moved in years. Inside. The light flickered twice before staying on. A single queen bed, a dusty armchair, a cracked mirror, and a ticking wall clock that sounded too loud for the silence. This place is ancient, Mahi said, dropping his backpack. Maria laughed nervously. Kinda charming though. In a haunted sort of way. Olin tried to open the window. It jammed halfway, screeching like metal on bone. Outside. The parking lot was empty except for their car, and something that looked like a shadow near the far end. Shaped vaguely like a person. When he blinked, it was gone. The unease by midnight. The 3 of them had settled down. They ordered cheap pizza, scrolled through their phones. Tried to ignore the cold creeping through the walls. Maria suddenly looked up. Do you guys hear that? Hear what? Mahi asked. Asterisk like footsteps, she said softly. In the hall. Olin listened. Nothing. Then. Thunk. 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 Slow. Uneven steps outside their door. Olin went closer, holding his breath. The sound stopped. He glanced through the peephole. The corridor was empty. Asterisk, but as he turned back, something caught his eye. A faint movement near the door's bottom edge. Asterisk, a shadow. Just under the doorframe. Like someone standing there. Motionless. He froze. Asterisk Mahi. He whispered. Someone's outside. Asterisk Mahi got up instantly. Probably the old man. Relax. But when he swung the door open, there was no one, only silence. Asterisk the hallway light flickered once. And Olin swore he saw a small footprint on the carpet. Wet, tiny, like a child's. Asterisk. The closet. They tried to laugh it off. By 2 a.m. the pizza was gone, the lights were off. And the three of them were lying side by side, half awake. Asterisk Olin couldn't sleep. Something about the air felt wrong. Asterisk the ticking of the wall clock seemed louder, faster than creak. The sound came from the closet. He turned slowly. The closet door was open, just an inch. Asterisk Mahi, Olin whispered. Did you leave the closet open? No, came the groggy reply. Creak. The door moved again, another inch wider. Maria sat up now, whispering, "What the hell?" Asterisk Olin grabbed his phone, turned on the flashlight, and pointed it toward the closet. Empty. Except for one thing, a small doll, half buried under a pile of dust and old hangers. Its face cracked, one glass eye missing. Asterisk Maria stared. That wasn't there before. Asterisk Olin reached for it. The doll's head tilted slightly on its own, and from somewhere deep inside the closet came a whisper, a faint, breathy voice. Asterisk, why did you come back? The three froze. Olin dropped the phone. The light spun across the carpet. Asterisk, there was no one in the closet. Asterisk, but the doll's one remaining eye seemed to be looking straight at him. The visitor. Asterisk, they didn't sleep after that. Asterisk Olin sat awake, staring at the dark, until sometime near 4 a.m., when Maria suddenly gasped. Asterisk, something pulled my hair. Her scream echoed in the tiny room. Olin turned on the lamp. Light flooded the room. No one else there, but the floor beside the bed was wet. A trail of tiny footprints leading toward the closet. Asterisk, Jesus Christ, Mahi muttered. We're leaving in the morning. I don't care if we have to drive all night. Asterisk, they shoved the doll back into the closet and pushed a chair against the door. No one talked after that. The ticking clock continued. Tick, 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 faster and faster, until it suddenly stopped. Silence. Then, from behind the closet door, a faint sound. Asterisk, thump, like someone knocking from the inside. Morning, when sunlight finally leaked through the curtains. They didn't wait another minute. Asterisk, bags packed. They went downstairs to check out. The old man at the counter looked up as they approached. Olin hesitated. Hey, can I ask you something? Asterisk, the man's eyes narrowed. About room 36. Asterisk, Olin froze. Yeah, has something happened there before? Asterisk, the old man sighed. A long time ago. A woman and her daughter stayed in that room. 15 years back, they never checked out. Mahi's voice was shaking. What do you mean, never checked out? They were found in the closet, he said quietly. Then, almost to himself. Some say they still are. Maria felt her skin crawl. Olin turned toward the stairs instinctively, and noticed something on the wall, a framed photograph, the silver moon in years ago, and in front of it, a smiling little girl, holding a doll, the same doll from the closet. They left the motel without another word. The sun was rising, but the air felt colder. Olin started the car. No one spoke for miles. Then. In the back seat, Maria whispered, Olin. Did you bring that doll? He turned around sharply. It was sitting there, right between them. Its glass eye gleamed in the morning light. The Room 36 Part 2. Voices in the hallway. The desert sun was pale and cold that morning, stretching over the endless highway like a faded photograph. Olin kept both hands on the steering wheel, eyes fixed ahead. None of them had said a word since leaving the Silver Moon Inn. The silence inside the car was heavy. Even the radio refused to catch a signal, only static. Maria sat in the back seat, her eyes half closed, trying not to look at the doll sitting beside her. Its cracked porcelain face glimmered faintly in the sunlight. One glass eye missing, the other staring blankly forward, toward Olin's rearview mirror. Every few minutes, Olin caught himself looking at it. Every time. It seemed to be facing slightly differently. Uneasy road. Okay, Mahi said finally, forcing a laugh. Someone explain how that thing got in the car. Olin didn't answer. His throat was dry. I swear I didn't touch it, Maria whispered. You must have packed it by mistake, Mahi said. It was dark, we were half dead tired. Don't. Olin cut in sharply. Don't make excuses. The car fell silent again. The hum of the engine filled the space where their voices should have been. Mahi leaned his head back, muttering, It's just a doll. But the way he said it didn't sound convincing, not even to himself. They stopped for gas at a small roadside station. The place looked abandoned, just a single pump, a flickering light, and a vending machine full of dust. Olin got out to stretch his legs. He looked back at the car and froze. Through the windshield. The doll wasn't on the back seat anymore. Maria. He called. Her voice came from behind him. What? He turned. She was standing beside Mahi, both of them outside. His heart thudded. He turned back toward the car. The doll was now sitting in the driver's seat. Olin's stomach turned. He walked closer. Hands trembling. As soon as he reached the door. The doll fell sideways like someone had just pushed it. He picked it up by the dress, holding it as far from himself as he could. The porcelain was cold. Too cold for the desert morning. He dropped it in the nearest trash bin. Done, he said. We're not bringing that thing another mile. Mahi nodded quickly. Good, let's get the hell away from here. They got back in the car, but as Olin started the engine, he heard a faint whisper behind them, like a voice carried on the wind. A child's voice, greater than "Don't leave me." The motel receipt asterisk by evening. They reached a small town, a sleepy stretch of diners and cheap motels, asterisk. Mahi insisted on finding a new place to rest. Asterisk, no way, we're driving through the night, he said. And I'm sure as hell not sleeping in the car. Asterisk, they found a budget motel near the highway. Bright lights, a friendly receptionist. Nothing creepy about it. Asterisk, it was called Sunrise Lodge. The name alone made them feel safer. Olin filled out the check-in form while Mahi paid. Maria leaned against the counter, still quiet. Asterisk, when the clerk handed them the key. Olin noticed something strange. A small slip of old paper stuck under the counter glass. Asterisk a torn piece of a receipt. Printed across the top. Greater than the silver moon in room 306. His blood ran cold. The clerk followed his gaze and frowned. Asterisk, double quotes, oh that. Been there for years. Some old guest left it. Olin stared at the faded ink. There were 3 signatures on it. One looked like a child's scribble. Asterisk, the last date checked in. November 12, 2008. Exactly 15 years ago. He felt a pulse. Behind his eyes. Asterisk, let's just get to the room, he muttered. Night 2 asterisk, their new room was clean and bright. Asterisk, 2 beds, a TV. Modern lights, no flickering, no dusty carpet, no old smell, asterisk still. Maria refused to sleep. Asterisk, she sat on the bed with her knees pulled to her chest, staring at her phone screen. Asterisk, every so often. She would look toward the bathroom door closed. Silent, Mahi tried to lighten the mood. See? Normal room. No ghosts. No dolls. Don't say that word, she snapped. Doll. He teased. Asterisk, stop it. Maria's voice broke. Asterisk, Olin looked up. She's right. Don't mess around. Asterisk, Mahi held up his hands. Fine, fine, I'm sorry. Asterisk, he turned on the TV to drown the tension. Static burst across the screen before the image settled. Asterisk, the channel flickered, some old local station, showing late-night commercials. But as they were talking, the image glitched again, a flicker, a frame. Asterisk, for half a second, the screen showed a little girl's face, pale, with wide eyes holding a cracked porcelain doll. The picture vanished before anyone could react. Maria screamed. Did you see that? Olin grabbed the remote, switching channels frantically. Nothing. Just static and noise. Asterisk, probably interference, Mahi said weakly, but even he didn't sound convinced. The voice in the hall sometime around 2 a.m. Olin woke to a faint sound. A whisper. At first, he thought it was the wind. But then he realized it was coming from the hallway outside their room. He sat up listening. Greater than Olin's name. Soft, drawn out, like a breath against the door. He looked at the others, both asleep. The whisper came again. Asterisk, greater than let me in. Asterisk, Olin's heart hammered. He slid off the bed, stepped quietly to the door, and pressed his ear against it. Nothing then. Knock, knock, knock. 3 soft knocks. He turned the handle slowly and opened the door an inch. Asterisk. The hallway was empty. Asterisk, but down near the far end. Under the exit sign, something small was moving. A child standing barefoot. Asterisk, her head tilted sideways. Her hair long and wet. She was holding a doll, the same one he'd thrown away that morning. Olin froze. He couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Asterisk, the girl's eyes met his. One was normal, the other a black hollow. She raised her hand and pointed at him. Greater than. You shouldn't have left me. Then the lights in the hallway went out. Olin slammed the door shut and stumbled backward. Asterisk, the others woke instantly to his shouting. Asterisk, what happened? Maria cried. Asterisk, she's here, Olin gasped. The girl, she followed us. Mahi ran to the window and yanked the curtain open. Nothing outside but the parking lot, empty, still. Then they heard it, knock, 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 knock. The same slow rhythm. But this time, inside the room, from the closet. The closet again, no, Maria whispered. No, not again. Asterisk, Olin stepped forward, holding the bedside lamp like a weapon. Asterisk, Mahi followed, clutching a shoe. The knocking continued faster now, then. A single whisper, asterisk greater than room 306. Olin's skin went cold. He reached for the closet handle. Mahi grabbed his arm. Asterisk, don't open it. But it was too late. The door swung open on its own. Asterisk, inside, only darkness, and the faint smell of wet earth. Then the lamp flickered and died, for a heartbeat, total blackness. Asterisk, and in that darkness, Olin felt something brush past his leg. Small, cold. Maria screamed. The light came back and the closet was empty again. Asterisk, except for a mirror leaning against the back wall, cracked, dusty. But none of them remembered a mirror being there when they checked in. Olin stepped closer. His reflection stared back, pale, wide-eyed. Then another reflection appeared behind him, a little girl. He spun around, nothing. Asterisk, when he turned back. The mirror was fogged up, as if someone had breathed against the glass. Asterisk, and written across it. In a child's shaky handwriting. Greater than I'm still in room 306. The aftermath by morning. They packed their things again. This time, none of them spoke. At checkout, Olin looked at the receptionist, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes. Asterisk, hey, he asked quietly. Do you know anything about the silver moon and about a family? A mother and daughter. The woman's smile faded instantly. Why would you ask that? Asterisk, we stayed there last night, Olin said. Room 306. Her face went pale. That place burned down 15 years ago, she whispered. It's been abandoned ever since. Asterisk, Olin blinked. Oh no, we stayed there. It's still open. Asterisk. But when he turned to show her the address on his phone, the map was blank, just a patch of desert. No motel, no name. Mahi took out his phone too. Same thing. The Silver Moon Inn didn't exist. Maria began to cry. It was real. We were there. I saw her. Asterisk, the woman behind the counter crossed herself quietly. You kids need to leave this town. Whatever that place was, it wasn't meant for the living. They drove again aimlessly, silently, until the road dissolved into miles of empty desert. Asterisk, Mahi finally broke the silence. So what do we do now? Asterisk, Olin didn't answer. His eyes were fixed on the rearview mirror. Asterisk, the back seat was empty. Asterisk, but faintly, just faintly. He could hear a voice from behind them. Asterisk, greater than. We never checked out. The sound of a child's laugh filled the car, and on the back window, slowly peering through the condensation of their breath, were two small handprints. The Room 36 Part 3. The Return to 306 asterisk. The road stretched endlessly across the Nevada wasteland. Asterisk, dust and wind swirled through the car windows, and the sun glared red on the horizon. But none of them spoke. Asterisk. Olin gripped the wheel tightly. His knuckles were white. Behind him, Mahi sat slumped against the seat, his face pale, staring out the window. Maria hadn't said a word in hours. Her phone lay in her lap. The wallpaper had changed. Asterisk. It used to be a photo of the three of them from the start of their trip. Asterisk. Now it showed the same image, except there was a fourth figure standing behind them. A little girl, eyes black, smile wide. The silence between them. Asterisk. Say something, Mahi muttered finally. Anything. No one answered. Olin just kept driving. Asterisk. The highway signs blurred past, but the numbers on them made no sense. Asterisk. Exit 45, Silver Moon Road. Asterisk. He blinked. No way. Asterisk. Mahi leaned forward. What's wrong? Olin pointed. The road sign read, Silver Moon Road to 3 miles. Asterisk. Maria whispered, that can't be right. We drove hundreds of miles from there. Asterisk. The sign disappeared behind them, but another came up seconds later. Silver Moon Road, 1 mile. Olin hit the brakes. Asterisk. The car screeched to a stop in the middle of the empty road. Asterisk. Do you guys see that? He said. His voice shook. Tell me you see that. They all looked ahead. There, in the distance, through the heat waves and dust, stood a familiar outline. Asterisk. A 2-story building with a flickering neon sign. Asterisk. Greater than Silver Moon in. Asterisk. Mahi's heart sank. No. We left that place. It burned down. Olin's breathing grew shallow. Then why is it standing right there? The pole. They could have turned the car around. They could have driven away and never looked back. Asterisk. But somehow, none of them could move. Asterisk. The air felt heavier, thicker, as if invisible hands were gripping their shoulders. Asterisk. And somewhere deep inside, they felt the same whisper echoing through their minds. Asterisk. Greater than come back. Asterisk. Maria started to cry softly. She wants us to go back. Asterisk. Olin whispered, maybe if we go back, it'll stop. Asterisk. Mahi turned on him. Are you insane? You want to go back there? But it was too late. The car engine started on its own. The headlights flickered. The wheel turned slowly, deliberately back toward the motel. The Silver Moon in. Asterisk. When they arrived, the world had changed. Asterisk. The sky was darker than it should have been. Suns swallowed by thick gray clouds. The air smelled like burnt wood and rain. The building looked identical to before, but the windows were shattered. The Silver Moon in sign hung sideways, 1 letter missing. It wasn't just old, it was rotting. This can't be real, Mahi whispered. Asterisk. Olin stepped out first. His boots crunched on broken glass. Asterisk. Every sound echoed too loudly, as if the world around them was hollow. The front door was hanging open. Inside, the reception desk was covered in ash. Asterisk. The same ledger sat there, half burned. Maria picked it up. Her fingers trembled as she turned a page. Asterisk, there were names. Faded, scorched. But she could make out 3 clearly written entries near the bottom. Olin Harper, Mahi Khan Maria Lopez, and below their names, written in black ink, a line that hadn't been there before. Asterisk greater than, checked in. Never checked out. Room 306 asterisk. Olin's hands shook as he held the brass key again. It lay on the counter, exactly where the old man had left it the first night. Tag number 306, he picked it up. The metal was cold as ice. Asterisk. Mahi grabbed his wrist. No, don't even think about it. Olin looked him in the eye. If we don't go back there, it won't end. You know that, asterisk, Maria whispered. She's waiting for us. They climbed the stairs together. Each step creaked like bones snapping underfoot. Asterisk at the end of the hallway. Room 306 waited. The door closed. The number plate half melted. Asterisk. Olin slid the key into the lock. Asterisk. The sound of the click echoed down the corridor like a gunshot. He pushed the door open. Asterisk. The room was exactly as they remembered. Asterisk. The same cracked mirror, the same ticking clock, same faint smell of wet dust. Asterisk. Except now, everything was covered in a thin layer of soot. Black fingerprints smeared across the walls. Asterisk. Maria whispered, "Do you hear that?" Olin listened. There it was, the faint sound of humming, a child's voice, coming from the closet. The humming. The door creaked open by itself. Asterisk. Inside, the little girl sat on the floor, hugging her doll. Asterisk. Her skin was pale gray, her hair dripping water onto the wooden boards. Asterisk. She looked up slowly. Her eyes were different colors, one blue, one completely black. You came back, she said softly. Maria trembled. Who are you? Asterisk. The girl smiled faintly. I live here. Mommy said we could never leave. Asterisk. Olin stepped forward, voice shaking. What happened to you? The girl looked down at her doll. She was crying. The fire made her cry. Mommy tried to hide us, but the fire found us anyway. Her tone was calm, almost innocent, but the air around her grew colder with each word. She said she'd come back. So I waited. I waited for someone to open the door. Asterisk. She looked up at Olin, her voice changing deeper, older. Asterisk. Greater than, and you did. The walls groaned, the lights flickered violently. Asterisk. Mahi shouted, we need to go. But the door slammed shut. The temperature dropped so fast that their breath turned white. The clock on the wall stopped ticking. And then from the mirror came another voice. Asterisk. Greater than. You shouldn't have come back. The mirror, the cracked mirror, began to shake. Olin turned toward it, his reflection distorting. The cracks spread wider, until they formed a pattern like veins. Asterisk. Behind the glass, shadows moved, figures, dozens of them, their faces hidden, their mouths open in silent screams. Mahi backed away. What the hell is that? The girl stood up, still holding her doll. They want to leave too, she said. They're all still here. Her reflection in the mirror smiled, but the real girl did not. Olin felt something pulling at him, a force dragging him toward the glass. Asterisk. Help me, he shouted. Asterisk. Mahi grabbed his arm, but his feet were sliding. The mirror's surface rippled like water. Maria screamed. Don't touch it. But it was too late. Olen's hand plunged into the mirror. The world went silent. Inside the mirror he was standing in the same room. But it wasn't the same. Everything was reversed. The colors drained. The air smelled of smoke and rot. The bed was burned black. The wallpaper was peeling, revealing scorched wood beneath. Asterisk, and in the corner, the little girl again. But different now. Asterisk, her face half burned, her eyes hollow. You shouldn't have come here, she said. Olen looked around desperately. Asterisk, where am I? The other side, she whispered. Room 306 never lets anyone leave. Not really. Asterisk, Olen turned toward the mirror on the other side. He could see Mahi and Maria screaming his name. Pounding on the glass. Asterisk, he reached for them. But the surface felt like stone. Asterisk, the girl stepped closer. You opened the door. You belong here now. Asterisk, she touched his chest with her cold, wet hand and pain shot through his body like fire. The fire returns. Asterisk, in the real room. The walls began to blacken. Asterisk, flames crawled up from the floorboards. Orange and silent. Asterisk, Mahi dragged Maria toward the door. But it wouldn't budge. Smoke filled the air, choking them. Through the firelight, Maria saw the mirror, Olen's face inside, pounding desperately. Asterisk, Olen. She screamed. Asterisk, the little girl turned her head toward them. Her eyes glowing red now. You can't take him, she said. He's part of the room. Mahi threw a chair at the mirror. It shattered, and the room exploded with sound. Asterisk, the flames roared. The ceiling cracked open, and the lights swallowed everything. After the fire silence, Mahi opened his eyes. Asterisk, he was lying on the asphalt outside the motel. The building behind him was gone, replaced by blackened rubble and smoke. Asterisk, Maria was beside him, coughing, eyes wide with terror. Asterisk, Olen. She gasped. He turned. There was no sign of him, just ashes. They staggered to their feet, trembling. The wind howled through the ruins, carrying a faint sound, the ticking of a clock. Asterisk, and then, from somewhere deep inside the rubble, a whisper. Asterisk, greater than check incomplete. 2 weeks later, asterisk, the police found Mahi and Maria wandering near the highway. Asterisk, they said, the Silver Moon Inn had burned down years ago. But the fire had mysteriously reignited the night the two were found. Asterisk, the official report called it a psychological trauma event. No trace of Olen Harper was ever recovered, but sometimes truckers passing that stretch of road report seeing a man standing by the old foundation pale, still, staring toward where the inn used to stand. Asterisk, when they slow down, they swear he smiles, and whispers, greater than room 36 has vacancies. The Room 306 Part 4. The echo in the flames. Asterisk, the fire had ended, but the smell never left. Asterisk, even after 3 weeks. Mahi could still catch it sometimes, that faint mix of smoke, wet wood, and something sourer. He told himself it was just memory, but every night, when the wind brushed against the broken window of his apartment, he heard the crackle of burning again. He lived alone now. The doctors said it was post-traumatic stress. He didn't correct them. How could he explain what he'd seen? Olin vanishing into a mirror. A girl burned but alive. A room that pulled people in and refused to let them go. The police had closed the case. Old wiring. Spontaneous combustion, they'd said. No mention of Olin, no mention of the ledger with their names. Asterisk only Maria believed him. The calls asterisk it. Started one night after 2 a.m. Asterisk Mahi's phone rang. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer, but something about the ringtone faintly distorted, echoing, made his skin crawl. He picked up, at first nothing. Just static. Then, a faint voice, greater than muck. Can you hear me? His breath caught. Olin. The line hissed, the voice flickering in and out. Greater than its cold here. She won't let me out. Asterisk Olin, where are you? Asterisk, greater than you left me. The line went dead. He stared at the phone screen. Asterisk, no missed call. No number logged. As if it never happened. Maria's drawings the next morning. He went to see Maria. She was staying at her cousin's house in Henderson, Nevada. When she opened the door, she looked thinner, pale skin, dark circles. A faint tremor in her hands. Asterisk Mahi, she whispered. You've been getting the calls too. Asterisk, he froze. Too. She nodded and led him inside. On the kitchen table were sheets of paper. Dozens of them, covered in charcoal sketches. They were all of the same thing. Room 306, the same bed. The same cracked mirror, the same door. Asterisk in one sketch. The mirror showed Olin's face, screaming. Asterisk in another. A little girl stood behind the bed, holding her doll, half of her face blackened by fire. Mahi touched one of the drawings. The paper was warm. Asterisk sometimes, Maria said. Voice trembling, I draw it in my sleep. I wake up, and it's there. Asterisk, why are you keeping them? Asterisk, she looked at him with hollow eyes. Because if I throw them away, it draws itself again. The reflection. They sat quietly for a while. The TV was on mute, showing a daytime talk show, smiling faces that didn't belong in their world anymore. Asterisk. Mahi noticed the mirror across the room. A tall, antique one, leaning against the wall. Something about it made him uneasy. The reflection showed the room correctly, except for one thing. Asterisk in the reflection. The door to the kitchen was closed. But in real life, it was open. Maria, he whispered. Your mirror? She turned to look. The reflection shimmered. Asterisk slowly. The door in the mirror began to open on its own. Asterisk from the darkness beyond. A faint orange glow spread across the reflected floor. Firelight. Mahi grabbed her wrist. Don't look. Asterisk, but she couldn't move. Her eyes widened as her reflection stepped forward, a perfect copy of her. Except the skin on the reflected version's face was blistered and burnt. Asterisk. It pressed a hand against the glass from the other side. Mahi yanked Maria away. The mirror cracked, spider webbing across the surface. Asterisk. The lights flickered, and the smell of smoke filled the air. Then silence. The visit later that night. They packed bags. Asterisk. We have to go, Mahi said. We need to leave Nevada. Asterisk. Where would we go? Maria whispered. Asterisk. As far as possible. Asterisk. But when they stepped outside, they froze. Across the street stood a motel. Newly built, Fresh sign. Neon glowing red against the dusk. Greater than silver moon sweets. Mahi's stomach twisted. No. Asterisk, it was impossible. That place had burned down. Asterisk, and yet there it was, bright and alive, as if nothing had happened. The front door opened. A man stepped out, wearing a manager's vest. Asterisk, you folks looking for a room? He called cheerfully. We've got a special rate tonight. Asterisk, Mahi's voice cracked. What room numbers do you have? The man smiled. All standard up to 306. The return asterisk, Maria whispered. It's calling us again. Asterisk, Mahi grabbed her hand. We're not going in, but their feet moved anyway. Every step felt like walking through water, resistance pulling against them. And yet something pushing from behind. Asterisk inside. The lobby looked almost identical, cleaner. Brighter, but underneath the new paint they could see scorch marks that had been covered over. Asterisk, the receptionist, the same. Man handed Mahi a key. Asterisk, room 36, he said with a smile. Asterisk, you've been expected. Asterisk, Mahi dropped the key as if it burned him. Asterisk, how do you know our names? The man didn't answer. He simply looked past them, and when they turned, they saw Olin, standing at the end of the hall. Olin, he looked the same clothes, same eyes, but his skin was grayish, like something preserved. Asterisk, Olin, Maria whispered. He smiled faintly. You came back. Asterisk, Mahi stepped forward slowly. Where have you been? Asterisk, in the room, Olin said softly. You didn't finish what she started. The hallway lights dimmed. The sound of a ticking clock echoed somewhere far away. Asterisk, she wants us all together, Olin said. Then she can rest. Asterisk, who? Asterisk, before he could answer. The lobby door slammed shut behind them. Every light in the motel went out. Only one remained, a faint glow at the top of the stairs. Asterisk. Room 306. The little girl's story. Asterisk, they followed Olin up the steps. Asterisk, the air grew thicker, filled with the scent of ashes. Asterisk, inside room 36, everything was perfectly arranged. Bed made, curtains drawn, clock ticking softly. Asterisk, in the center of the room, stood the little girl. Asterisk. Her doll hung from one hand. Her eyes gleamed wetly in the dim light. You brought them back, she said to Olin. Asterisk, he nodded. You said you needed all of us. Asterisk, she looked at Maria. You can help me. Asterisk, Mahi's voice trembled. Help you with what? Asterisk, Mommy never left, the girl said. She burned, but she's still here. In the walls. In the fire, she pointed to the mirror. Flames flickered inside its surface, showing glimpses of a woman screaming. Her face half hidden by smoke. Asterisk, my mommy was the one who lit the fire. The girl whispered. Asterisk, she wanted to burn the room, so no one else would come. But the room didn't die. Her voice cracked. It burned us instead. Asterisk, Maria took a step closer. How do we stop it? The girl tilted her head. Burn it again. But this time, don't run. The second fire, Mahi looked at Olin. His friend's eyes were distant, glassy. She's right, he said quietly. The room feeds on fear. That's why it won't let go. He grabbed the oil lamp from the dresser. Mahi shouted. Wait, but Olin smashed it against the wall. Flames burst upward, licking across the wallpaper. The girl didn't move. She just stood there, smiling through the growing blaze. Don't be afraid, she whispered. It's the only way. The fire roared higher, spreading faster than any normal flame. The mirror began to melt, and through the liquid glass, they saw dozens of faces screaming silently, the trapped souls of the room. Maria fell to her knees, choking Olin. Come with us. He looked at her, tears streaming down his ashen face. I can't. Someone has to stay. The floor cracked. The fire swallowed the bed, the walls, the ceiling. Olin reached out, pushed them both toward the door. Run. Escape. They stumbled down the stairs, coughing, smoke thick around them. Behind them. The building groaned, as if alive. Mahi kicked the front door open. Night air rushed in, cool and sharp. They collapsed on the pavement, gasping. The motel was burning. This time, it didn't stop. The flames reached higher, the entire structure glowing like a lantern in the desert. From within, they could hear voices, crying, screaming, whispering. Then, all at once, silence. The building collapsed. Only ashes remained. The next morning, firefighters arrived before dawn. They found no bodies, not even Olin's. Just 2 survivors. Dazed, refusing to speak. The news called it an electrical malfunction. No one mentioned the previous fire. Mahi and Maria sat in the back of an ambulance, wrapped in blankets. Maria stared at the rising smoke. Do you think it's over? She asked. Mahi hesitated. I don't know. He looked down at his hands, black with soot on his palm. Burned into the skin like a brand was a number greater than 306. 1 week later, Mahi woke up to the sound of knocking. 3 slow, heavy knocks. He opened the door. No one there. But on the floor lay a small brass key. Tag number 306. He picked it up slowly. The metal was ice cold and faintly. From somewhere inside the walls came a child's voice whispering, greater than check-in complete. The Room 306 Part 5. The Last Check-in. The world had gone quiet after the second fire. For weeks. Mahi and Maria tried to convince themselves it was finally over, that the ashes of the Silver Moon Suites had buried the curse for good. But some nights, when everything was still, Mahi could swear he heard it again. The faint tick-tick. Tick of that clock from room 306. It wasn't loud, just enough to make his heart stop every time. He told himself it was memory. Until the night the clock started counting backward. 1. The backward clock. The sound came from his living room. He followed it. Barefoot, heart pounding. There, on the wall, a clock he'd never owned. Old-fashioned. Brass frame. The number plate burned around the edges. The hands ticked backward. And every few seconds, a faint whisper echoed behind the sound. Checkout pending. Mahi froze. He turned and saw a reflection in the darkened window. Olin standing behind him. Olin, he whispered. His friend looked the same, pale, half-shadowed, eyes hollow. You didn't finish it, Olin said softly. The fire didn't stop it. Asterisk, Mahai's voice trembled. Then what will? Asterisk. Olin raised his hand and pointed toward the horizon to the desert, where the silver moon once stood. Asterisk, the room's heart is still beating. 2. The return to ashes. Asterisk, by dawn, Mahi was driving again. Asterisk, Maria sat in silence beside him, staring at the rising sun. Asterisk, you saw him too? She finally asked. Asterisk, Mahi nodded. He said it's not over. Asterisk, I thought the motel was gone. Asterisk, it is, he said. But maybe not completely. Asterisk, when they reached the site, the desert wind howled across the blackened ground. Asterisk, there was nothing left but ashes, and the faint smell of burnt oil and wood. Asterisk, but as they stepped closer, they saw it, half buried in the sand. A door frame, no walls, no roof. Just a single door, standing upright in the middle of nowhere. Asterisk, the number on it, scorched but visible, 306-3. The door that waited. Mahi touched the doorknob. It was ice cold. Asterisk, Maria whispered, don't open it. Asterisk, but the moment he stepped back, the door opened by itself. Asterisk, darkness spilled out, not shadow, but something thicker, like smoke moving backward. And from inside came a voice, small, broken, familiar. Asterisk, greater than you promised you'd help me. The little girl. Mahi clenched his fists. We tried. We burned it down. Her voice echoed again, softer this time. Greater than, but I'm still here. Mommy's still here. The room never dies. The air around them grew colder. Maria grabbed his arm. If we go in, we won't come out. Mahi turned to her, eyes burning with determination. If we don't, it'll keep coming back. It'll find others. He looked at the open door, the darkness pulsing like a heartbeat. I'm ending it. For Olin. Asterisk, before she could stop him. He stepped through. 4. Inside the room, the world vanished. When Mahi opened his eyes, he was standing in room 306 again, untouched, perfect. No smoke, no fire, no decay. Everything looked exactly as it had the first night they arrived. The bed neatly made, the lamp softly glowing, the mirror unbroken. Asterisk, except this time, there was no sound, not even breathing. Asterisk, then, slowly, the mirror began to ripple. Olin stepped out of it. His expression was empty, but his eyes were filled with sorrow. Asterisk, you shouldn't have come back. I came to end it, Mahi said. Olin shook his head. You can't destroy the room. You can only trade places. Asterisk, what do you mean? Asterisk, the room needs a keeper, Olin said quietly. Someone has to stay to keep it contained. Asterisk, he took a deep breath. I tried. But it's growing stronger. It's spreading through mirrors, through reflections, through memory. He looked at Mahi, pleading. You have to close it from the inside. Asterisk, Mahi felt his chest tighten. And if I do? Asterisk, Olin's voice broke. Then you'll never leave. But she will. 5. The girl's truth. The little girl appeared by the bed. Her doll was gone. Her eyes looked softer now, sad, tired. Asterisk. I didn't mean to hurt anyone, she whispered. Asterisk, Mommy said if I stayed quiet, the fire wouldn't find us. But it did. Tears rolled down her ash-stained cheeks. When we burned, we screamed. The room heard us. It wanted more. So it kept burning again and again. Mahi knelt in front of her. You've been trapped here all this time. Asterisk, she nodded. I just wanted to go home. He looked at Olin. There has to be a way. Olin pointed to the clock on the wall. When it stops, the room resets. If you stop it before it restarts, everything ends. Asterisk, the clock ticked softly. 11:57. 3 minutes until midnight. Mahi took a deep breath. Asterisk, then let's finish it. 6. The final countdown. The walls trembled as the minute hand moved. The mirror started to shake. Asterisk, from within it. Faces pressed outward, the souls trapped for decades. Asterisk. Maria's voice called faintly from the other side of the door. Asterisk, Mahi, come back. Asterisk, he shouted. Run. Don't open the door until it's over. Asterisk, the floor split open. Flames spilling upward. The girl screamed. The clock ticked faster. Tick tick ticked, racing toward midnight. Asterisk, Olin grabbed Mahi's shoulder. Asterisk, now. Mahi reached up, grabbing the clock from the wall. It burned his hands, but he didn't let go. Asterisk, the glass shattered. Gears fell loose. Asterisk, the ticking grew louder, echoing in his head. Asterisk, he twisted the hands backward, forcing them to 11:59, and smashed it against the floor. The ticking stopped. Asterisk, for one heartbeat. There was silence. Then the world imploded in light. Asterisk. 7. The end of the room. Maria saw the door explode in flames. She screamed Mahi's name. But the blast knocked her to the ground. Asterisk, when the smoke cleared. The desert was empty. No motel, no door, just ashes blowing in the wind. She waited until dawn. Calling for him, he never answered. When she finally turned to leave, she saw something glinting in the sand. Asterisk, a brass key, tag number 306. She picked it up slowly, and for the first time, it didn't feel cold. It was warm, alive. Asterisk, from the wind came a faint whisper, not the voice of a child this time, but of Mahi. Asterisk, it's over. 8. Epilogue. Asterisk, months later. The Silver Moon Inn's land was sold to a construction company. Asterisk, they built a new motel. They're bright, modern, with white paint and glass doors. No one mentioned the old building. No one remembered the fire. Asterisk, but sometimes new guests complain about strange things. Asterisk, room 36's clock runs backward. Asterisk, the mirror fogs up in the middle of the night. Asterisk, and, if you listen closely, really closely, you might hear a man's voice whispering through the air vents. Asterisk. Check-in complete. The end. Asterisk.